Okay, so Hot Wheels Turbo Racing Speedrun. This is just a general how-to speedrun this game. Some things to keep in mind is... Okay, having a few technical difficulties. Going to need to replug the wires, I think. There we go. So this game allows 9 total characters for your name. I'm going with Cosmic Dolphin without the O's. First thing I'm going to do after this is set my difficulty to experts. There's actually a reason for that. It's not because I want to do anything fancy, it's because expert's actually faster. Because expert will increase the rubber banding, therefore decrease the amount of races that I overlap other racers, and that overlapping wastes time because the other racers will steal power-ups from you, and getting power-ups speeds you up. So first power-up, Orange Piston, actually will save about a second per lap. I'm hoping for about 54 on this first lap, you never know. Okay, so breaking through that first sign is the first slowdown you have in the first lap, but it saves time overall because it avoids going through a loop, and it's only a 4-wheel drive shortcut only. There's 3 different patterns that you will go through whenever you actually hit that first door. The first is that your car will lay down on its side, and that's the second slowest. The third is that your car will turn around straight backwards, which is the slowest, and it takes 2 turbos to get out of that. You saw the fastest thing that can happen is that my car will hit it and do a complete 360, and then I turbo out of it. So I had to do a backflip and then readjust my aim to get the power up there. It's not easy to do. You have to drive through the exact center of the power up to actually get it, or you have to drive through the left side of the power up to get it. If you drive just past through it on the right side, you don't get the power up. But if you pass through the left side of it or the center of the power up, you do get it. That's with all power-ups in this game. We're running the N64 version because the N64 version is faster without the loading screens and less races. So, turbo planning and getting turbos is extremely important to this run. You're going to lose speed every time you take a turn, every time you go uphill, and every time you go downhill, which doesn't make any logical sense to me, but that's just the way it is. A turbo gets you back to your top speed immediately. So if I'm in a turn, I want to use multiple turbos so I stay as close to my top speed as possible. Every time you land, you also lose a little bit of speed, so generally after every ramp you'll see me use a turbo to get back up to my top speed. That's why I use 4 turbos through that set of whoops, and I have to save 2 turbos off the first ramp and then use the other 2 that I get from the backflip, so I reach that set of whoops with 4 turbos total. There are some places that I can skip using a turbo just in case, because some areas of the run are more vital to use turbos to save time than others. 53.76, that's not a bad time on this lap. Actually, that's a pretty good time. My best was about 53.60 ever, so good. Let's hope we get more 53 laps. First lap of 54 something's alright, because it's just kind of RNG based on how you'll react. The collision detection is very bizarre in this game, and it's kind of random how much time you'll lose per collision. So the fact that I have to break down actually 3 barriers first lap, and you're going to lose some time. It's just random how much you will lose. So I'm going to save a booster going uphill here because it doesn't lose that much time. It's more important to save boosters for this turn because that's where you're going to lose more speed. So you want to use 2 turbos for the first turn, at least 2 for the second turn, because I only was able to get a 360. Okay, so you saw what I said about driving through the right side of a power-up. You won't get it. I just did it there. actually saw where my car actually clipped through it and I missed the power up, and I'm going to lose about a second on this lap because of that. And I didn't get the booster there either, even though you kick out to the side and sometimes it'll give you a booster, sometimes it won't. It's pretty weird. I don't know what causes that. I'm coming into this with a good amount of turbos, and I got the turbo off that ramp, so that'll help. So that was still a slow lap because due to missing the power up with 54.61. That was almost the exact same as the first lap. You can clip through that piece of wood on the right side off that ramp that I do the backflip bomb off of, which actually will save a little bit of time on the first lap because it drops less frames. However, it lines you up incorrectly for the door, which makes you lose time, so it's actually faster to go ahead and take the drop frames. So, final lap, so I'm going to be using up all the turbos on this turret instead of saving 2, which makes this lap usually your fastest lap. Wasn't that time. 5:24, that's not a bad time, 5:24.71. Better time would be like a 5:23.50, but we could deal with that. First skip of the game coming up here, we abort the race. So this game works on a point system. For the cups, we have 3 cups that we're going to race through. Also a minor time saver whenever I'm in the menus. Whenever the screen is black, it accepts 1 input for what will happen in the menu. Okay, so I've got a good rock cycle, so this race will go good. There's about 5 different rock cycles you can get, and that one went very well for me. I got the good cycle, so I don't need to worry about dodging those. And the best cycle is the most common one to get, but... So I usually want to get a feeling dizzy off of that. It's 2 backflips and a 720, but it didn't count that as a backflip. So I went off course here because I was getting the car Rock Buster. It's a 4-wheel drive car that has a faster top speed than any of the vehicles I have unlocked right now, which will obviously save time. It also has better stunts than most of the vehicles I have unlocked right now, and it also has very good control, which means I'll lose less speed on turns. And then plus, since it's 4-wheel drive, any 4-wheel drive shortcut at this game I'll be able to go through. So overall, it is worth getting. It saves time overall to get that hidden car, because it's top speed of 173. This car has a top speed of 165, 166. So that's going to save a little bit of time. That's going to save about 3 to 10 seconds per race, depending on what race you're talking about. The most difficult part about this run is you get used to one vehicle and then having to switch to another. And this is the most difficult race also because of the shortcut that you're seeing where I go to the right every time. That's actually, it looks easy, but it's not. I actually only have a few frames to line myself up because that lightning bolt puts your car centered and straight for the pathway to the left, which will take you to a loop and slow you down a lot. However, you take the path to the right, it saves time. You've probably noticed the mystery car at the end of it, but that car is not worth getting, so I don't even bother trying to aim for it. Also, you won't be going fast enough for that ramp either, so I have to use a turbo within those few frames as I'm turning. And it's not just a matter of hold the control stick right the entire time, because you can overshoot to the right and you can undershoot to the left, so it actually is very precise. So that power up was missing because I'm starting to overlap racers. So these next few laps I'm going to have problems with other racers on the track. But this power up's here, so that's good, I guess. So I can get the triple front flip because I have that power up. If I didn't have that power up, I wouldn't be able to get a double front flip. Okay, here's the other cars. So I'm only going to be able to get a tip turtle for 6 boosters. instead of feeling dizzy for 9, so that obviously wastes time. It only counted that as a 540 for some reason. I did a complete 720 and a backflip, so that should have been a tip turtle. And I should have gotten 6 turbos. Close call there, very close call. But I made it past the overlapped racers just fine. Oh wait, what on earth? Okay, so that's rubber banding there. That path that I took is actually faster, and I was in front of him. But just because of the rubber banding, it made him go a lot faster. But no biggie, because I took the shortcut to the right. So this race has went very well, because you do have interaction with overlapped racers, and on this race, and the interactions went very well. I did have a goof up on lap 2, but 3:50 time is still a very good time for this race. Not completely optimal due to my mess up at lap 2, but very good time. Okay, so now we're at Cold Fusion, and a 4-wheel drive is faster at this track, and now I have the fastest 4-wheel drive possible until we go to the final race of the game whenever I unlock Twin Mill 1 and 2. Top speed of 173, good stunt. More stunt value means I can pull off more stunts in the air. I'm only using cars that have high stunt. Okay, so that was obviously a mess up. I want to get a triple backflip off that. Normally I'd try for a 720 off that too and skip everything, but I was going slower because I didn't have any turbos saved up, so turbos do save time. By the way, just with the increased difficulty setting, it's true that I overlap other racers less commonly, but if I'm not in first, it will slow me down. So basically, the point of this run is to be in first and stay in first the entire time. So 54:16, that was a very bad time for that first lap. Mostly because of the goof up on the blue ramps. Okay. Apparently, I am having an awful time with the blue ramps. Okay. I at least got the 720. That was good. You can do spins, front flips, back flips, and barrel rolls, which I don't do barrel rolls that often. You will see some barrel rolls in this run, but barrel rolls are very difficult to control because you have to hold the R button and then the control stick, and if I mess up the timing on either one of those, you just sit there doing nothing in air, or you will drop out of the barrel roll at odd times for some reason. So I don't like barrel rolls. I generally go with spins and flips, mostly back flips. Back flips are a little bit marginally faster than front flips and easier to land, and you get the same amount of turbos for them. It only counts how many revolutions you do. Oh, I should have gotten turbos for that anyway. But, oh, come on. So this race is going absolutely awful. This wasn't going to be a perfect run anyway. But this race is going very poorly. I also want to save a bunch of turbos for this set of turns because as you're turning, you're slowing down. Also, that entire path is slightly uphill, so you lose speed because of that. And also, snow has a slowdown for 2x4 cars, but this is a 4-wheel drive, and snow doesn't affect it. Okay, so we got the triple backflip. That was good. And 720. That was very good. I could go off that ramp to the right after exiting that house, but there's no need to. I've got enough turbos, and it slows you down a little bit going in the area and going up the ramp and then landing. That all slows you down just a little bit, so I've got enough turbos, I don't need it. You try to get as many turbos as possible, so you're usually aiming for ramps, but whenever I've got enough turbos, there's no need to go off any additional ramps. So 50-20. Honestly, what I'm hoping for is about a 49-second lap every single time. honestly, I should be able to get a total time on this race under 5 minutes. Obviously, that's not happening because this has been a very poor run of this race. And if I was like going for world record or something, this would be absolute run killer right here. But since this is just a general run with commentary, it doesn't matter. Okay, 49.69, that's a good lap. Finally saw a good lap. Oh. Also, you've probably noticed that the loops slow you down as I'm going up, but also I noted that any slope slows you down, including downslope, so even the downslope of a loop will slow you down, even though, you know, hey, gravity should allow me to accelerate in the correct direction. Okay, so 5:09, that was a very bad race, but I'm still in first, so that doesn't matter. So I'll still be able to do the skip at the end. As long as I win 4 of the races, I will win the entire tournament. So you saw the abort race skip at the 2nd race of the tournament. We'll do it at the 6th race of the tournament also. So this track is interesting because we have a death warp in it. So the way this track is designed is that you race to a checkpoint, then turn around and race back. However, all you need to do is reset your car whenever you go to the checkpoint. So that saves a little bit of time, obviously. So I'm going to save a turbo instead of using that on this that turn back there, because I want to save a turbo for a slight cut. I do a turbo right off the top of that, and I can flip right over the top there, which saves some time. Now, you'll notice that I still slow down and turn myself around whenever I go up this. The reason being, if you're turned around backwards, if you're just going straight, the game will not let you reset your car for some reason on that. So I still turn around backwards on that, just because that means I can save a little bit of time and do the reset faster. Okay, get the red tomato, good. So 48.11, so this should be a race that I get under 5 also. Should be. Doesn't mean I will, but that's the time you should get, is under 5 minutes on the 6-lap race. Okay, you can overshoot to the right on that ramp in that shortcut, because the game will recenter you if you hit the rock on the right and push you back into the shortcut. It's a little bit slower, so it's still faster to get the aim correct, but if you wow. Okay, so a bad aim plus a weird interaction with another racer led to a massive slowdown there. I should be on the loop by now, but also, you're probably wondering, why don't I turbo the exact second I hit the ground after doing that death warp? The reason is that if I do it, I'll do what I call a turbo hop. And what a turbo hop is that every now and then in this game, whenever I turbo, my car will go straight up in the air backwards, the wrong direction. It happens whenever I change directions very quickly. So, turbo hopping slows me down a lot. I don't want to turbo hop, so I have to build up a little speed going forward first, then turbo, so I don't go flying up in the air the wrong direction. If you wanted to go really crazy, it technically does get you high enough up in the air to... Oh, jeez. It actually does get you high enough up in the air to do a double backflip. That's how much height you get from a turbo hop. So, if you wanted to do something crazy task video, you probably, honestly, could race backwards the entire time and turbo hop an entire race. Because you turbo hop, double backflip, get more turbos, do another turbo hop the second you land, because you can chain turbo hops also. I'd say it would be something you could only do in tasks, except it would be very funny to watch. So if anybody wants to task this game... Okay, so there's another area where overlapping can be very difficult, because that door will only open for one racer unless the second racer behind the other racer is very close by. So if I'm starting to overlap another racer, the door can close on me even though I'm in first place. See, it generally closes for second, fourth, and sixth place. But because I was very close behind who I assume was fifth or fourth place, I was able to go through the door again without it shutting on me. If that door shuts on you, it's very time wasting and it blows your car up. So okay, so that was the first cup. We did another abort race skip. And we're on to the second cup, the Secret Car Cup. The Secret Car Cup's only 2 races. This is also the only track you'll ever see twice during our run. So I missed the orange power up there, so again, suboptimal. It is possible to go straight through this room. We'll see if I can get it. Oh, that was a slowdown. I generally want 3 turbos for that turn, but it all depends on how many turbos I'm able to come into that room in with. 720 off here. Oh. Ooh. Oh! Ooh. Okay. That's the nice thing about turbos, getting you back up to your immediate top speed. So even though I was going uphill, I was like, whee! A minute and 0.23. That's awful. That is an awful time for this race. Okay, so that's what I was supposed to do the first lap. Saves a little bit of time as compared to going to the intended path, but it's very precise. .54. Oh, wow. You can obviously have interactions with other cars on that side of the ramp. That was lucky. Because sometimes whenever you hit another car off that ramp, it will cause you to fly straight up in the air, miss the ramp, and I've actually been sent out of bounds before by hitting another racer off that ramp, which is very bad. wasted a lot of time because I was not able to find a way to get back inbounds or anything. It just ended up crashing the game. And it's completely random whether or not there's going to be another car going over the other ramp at that time. So this is a very scary race just because of that intersection. And mind you, we'll be doing this race not once but twice. So I got 3 turbos out of 1 backflip, which is kind of weird. This game will do that every now and then. But it was because I mislanded, apparently. So like I said, this has been a very slow race also. Oh. Ooh, that was close. For anybody that's never played this game, your controls are a little bit funky. And weird things can happen every now and then. It's not as smooth as controlling as you would think, which is pretty rough considering the fact you not only have to... Oh, so that saw is instant death, by the way. As you saw. You saw the saw. Ha ha ha. Tighter control would be better because obviously, I mean, not only are we having to make sometimes very precise turns, but you're also doing tricks. This game is like a combination of racing and Tony Hawk. So you have to not only be able to do a good race. That's an awful time. Not only do you have to be able to do a good race, you have to be able to do good stunts to get turbos. Oh, that was bad. That was rough. But then whenever you get turbos, to get the best time, you have to use them efficiently and at the correct points. So there's tons of minor strats per race. I mean, I couldn't even explain them all in this one video as it went along. So, hopefully you can just see that. Okay, so starting to overlap other racers, that's why that turbo was missing. But, like I said, increasing the difficulty increases the rubber banding, which decreases the regularity that overlap other racers, which saves time. So there's only 2 races left of this run now. There's this race and a final challenge. That's a single race. Okay, so I go off that shorter ramp because it saves time because I'm in air less time, and since it has the little blue power up there, I can still get a double backflip out of it. So you have to use a turbo at the exact correct time also in that split loop, or otherwise you'll flip upside down and die. Well, explode. Which obviously wastes a lot of time. Okay, so what happened there was there is an invisible ceiling, and it goofed up my backflip. And I just went down the secret pathway, not because I wanted to, but because I was forced to. And you can see how funky the collision detection is in this game. It can sometimes make you teleport, which is what it just did. It gave me a short teleport. It can actually also happen whenever another racer hits you in the side. You'll teleport to their other side. It's kind of weird. So, because I had such a bad first lap due to hitting the invisible ceiling, which led me to multiple other collisions, That racer went through the green ramp, but somehow did not pick up the power-up. I have no idea how that happened. Yeah, Speed Blaster's in front of us. Caused a massive slowdown. Okay. So what happened there was that invisible ceiling, I instead hit the top of it. Oh, that was bad. That was awful. And that time, since I hit the top of it, I got sent higher up in the air. It's like an invisible string, I don't know. It's very weird, and it can mess up that ramp so much. Okay, so... yeah, apparently I didn't do any trick whatsoever. I clearly did at least a 720, but nope. No turbos for you. So now I'm only going to come into this with 3 turbos, which is not optimal in the least. So I'm going to have to conserve turbos now. Normally use a turbo on this set of turns, but I'm going to have to save one for the split loop and one for the final turn, so I only used one in the loop, which normally you'd use at least 3 in the loop. So yeah, I want to get like a 1440 off that big ramp at the end of the track over the finish line. Therefore, I'll start each lap with a bunch of turbos. Okay, so like I said, barrel rolls do come into this run. That's the only ramp I use barrel rolls on. Because you can get a barrel roll off that one, but no other trick. Okay, so this is a good ramp. 1260, so I start out with more turbos, which will make the next part of this race go much faster. Because now I have a bunch of turbos, and I can use 3 of them on the loop. I can use 1 in this turn. I can use 2 in the split loop. And I can use 2 on the final turn. That's what we want. We want a bunch of turbos. Oh, jeez. Oh. Yeah. Like I said, this is definitely not a world record run or anything. This is just a general how-to speedrun this game. I'm still probably going to get like a 39 something, which isn't bad, but a 540. That was not a 540. Having to conserve turbos here again. By the way, if you listen to the music, you'll notice that it's a very bizarre mix, such as we're listening to Primus right now. The PlayStation version of the game gets even more interesting because it has full, with the better capabilities of a disc, instead of just having a small loop of a song, it has full songs with lyrics, including Fuel by Metallica. Now, I wanted to be in the executive decision room, we'll call it, that day whenever they decide on the soundtrack, because I wanted to just hear that. So, we're making a Hot Wheels game, so what do you think the target audience is going to be? Yeah, I think 7 to 8 year old little boys. Yeah, that sounds like, yeah, I think that's what most people will be wanting it is. So what do you think the soundtrack should be? I think the soundtrack should open up with Fuel by Metallica. All them little kiddies will love it. Yeah, that sounds like a good idea, boys. Let's do that. Yeah, I don't get that at all. Now that I'm older and I can play this game again, now that I'm older as compared to whenever I was a little kid, it's like, whoa, this is really cool. What on earth? But whenever I was younger and played this game, I think I was like 10 whenever I first got this game, I don't know, something like that. Well, it came out whenever I was 7. 601. Pretty rough time on that track. But I still won the race, so that's good. I never got any of the music whatsoever. So now I'll want to use the twin mill 1 car, which is the Twin Mill 1 and 2 are undeniably the best cars in the game. They have full control, full durability, so they don't blow up that often, full top speed. So Rockbuster, which I got because it traveled at 173. This bad boy right here will travel at 180, top speed. Okay, so obviously suboptimal. Very bad. Oh, come on. What? No turbo for that? So at least I'm in first now, which will help this run immensely. They only have about half stunt though, which makes it harder sometimes to pull off some stunts. But the top speed of 180, the full control, so you lose very little speed on turns, all that jazz. It just makes Twin Mill 1 and 2 the best cars in the game. And Twin Mill 1 and 2 both have the exact same stats. I argue that Twin Mill 1 is better, however, even though they have the exact same stats. And if you're going to say, why on earth is that? Here's the reason. Twin Mill 1 is shorter. And since it's shorter, on some ramps in this game, like, for example, RM Test Track, where I was hitting the invisible ceiling, because it's a shorter car, it's less likely to hit things hanging down from the ceiling on some ramps than, say, Twin Mill 2. So Twin Mill 1, better car, even though they have the exact same stats. Just because Twin Mill 2, that increased size, messes with everything. Also, that giant revolving door is cycle dependent. Obviously, the best cycle is for whenever it's on its left side, but it's not hard to dodge either way. Oh, okay. So I did a short teleport there again because I hit a rock. Like I said, collision detection on this game and what happens after a collision can lead to some very bizarre things, such as short teleports. Because science! And like I said, all slopes slow you down, so even going down the downside of the loop, I want to use sub-turbos. 52.47. That's kind of a meh time. Yeah, adventure time. Oh, no. Oh. I think I'm done with actually trying for the perfect clip on that. It's just so risky. Because if I get it wrong, I fly up in the air and lose a ton of speed. And you save maybe not even a full 1/10 of a second. You save more like 0.05 of a second. It's just a few frames. And if you mess it up, you lose a second. So I think I'm done with that. Okay, good cycle. Good cycle, Saw. Thank you, Saw. Thank you, Mr. Saw. Okay, so, yeah, obviously went much smoother there. So our run's almost over. We'll only have another lap to go. Also, if you're wondering, orange piston, it's like, why am I still getting it? Because it won't increase my top speed since I already have a top speed of 180 with this car. The reason I still get it is because it does increase your acceleration. So because I'm going to lose speed on turns with the increased acceleration, I'll bounce back quicker and actually lose less speed on the turn. Because whenever you're turning, it seems to actually go with not a continuous drop. It's like you lose a little bit of speed, then you maintain, lose a little bit of speed, then accelerate, lose a little bit of speed, then accelerate back. So 525, I was hoping, you hope for more like a 515, but that's the end of the game. We've won everything. Won all the cups. There you go. General speedrun for you of Hot Wheels Turbo Racing.